All right, you guys, welcome to this amazing call. I seriously have butterflies. So we have Trent Shelton, which is a guest speaker on this call. And oh my gosh, Trent, I'm so pumped. I'm going to let him obviously introduce himself, but all of you guys jumping on in the middle of the day, thank you so much. This is like such an honor. So crazy. I met Trent. I'm trying to think, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago. Trent was teaching classes in Texas. We were all training for Tough Mudder, and he pretty much kicked our butt. It was so amazing. So to be able to do this call with him, and watch him just succeed. And I'm so pumped to hear about his book. I'm for sure getting that, and I know all of you guys will as well. But he's just such an inspiration to watch. If any of you guys are jumping on, please mute your phone lines. And I'm gonna let Trent take it over.
Awesome. Am I coming through clear?
You are coming through clear. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you are so busy, and we are just so excited to hear from you.
Thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate you for just giving me the opportunity, and this is always cool to do. So thank you so much. And thank everybody for coming on here and joining in. I was trying to think about exactly what to talk about because there's so much I could talk about. But I wanted to first say, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to I'm not sure, I guess in the chat box or Rhonda, get them to me, like specific questions, and I'll definitely take time to answer those questions. But I just wanted to share just some things that's really helped me. As Rhonda said, we met. I'm a former NFL player. Not to get into my story too much because we'll be here all day. I played football and made it to the NFL for 3 years. That was my dream. That was my vision. But it didn't go like I wanted to go once I got there. I got cut, got released, went through a hard time. Depression hit. A close friend committed suicide. I mean, just a lot was going on in my life. Ended up started working at 24 Hour Fitness for a little bit and just training people as I was trying to find myself. And in that process, I found my purpose. I found what I do now, which is rehab time. And I get to travel the world, inspiring people. And if you follow me on social media, you kind of know what that's about. And after, you guys can follow me and just dive into my content and see what I'm really about and what I really care for. And just to make it short, I care about self-worth. I care about people knowing that they're enough. I care about people knowing that, no matter what you've been through, there's still a greatest you. And that's what my book is about. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So are we good? Are we still good?
Courtney, when you guys are jumping on, can you guys mute your line? I so appreciate that. I'm going through and I did the mass mute, but it's like, for some reason people are still coming through. So please, I do not want to miss a darn thing that this man has to share. So if you're jumping on, please mute your line. Thank you. And if you're calling in on your phone, you still need to mute your line as well, please. Thank you. All right, awesome, Trent, we're good.
Okay, cool. So, what I'm going to talk about today is something I call championship mindset. It's 5 traits that have really helped my life, and being able to be around some champions in my life, whether it's sports, getting a chance to I always say Peyton Manning was one guy that I got to learn from because I'm just very intrigued about people who live at a level of excellence, right? We are what we repeatedly do. And so I started to study these things with not just people in sports, but just people that I knew, even my dad, just at a high level. And I found 5 common things. And these are things that I live by. They're things that you already know about, I promise you. But when you dial in on it, you really see your life personally, your business, go to another level. So we can go ahead and get started with this. So championship mindset. The first thing in championship mindset is commitment. And I know we know that word, but commitment is very important. One thing that I always say is inconvenience exposes commitment. It's easy to be committed when things first start. It's easy to be committed when things are going right. It's easy to be committed when people are telling you yes. But are you going to be committed when storms hit? Are you going to be committed when struggle hits? Because this is real life. It's going to happen. My definition of commitment is simply this: staying loyal to what you said you were going to do, long after the mood you set in has left you. So what does that mean? When you get off this call, hopefully, you're excited, right? Or you go to a conference, you're excited, and that's great. But it's about what you do when that emotion wears off. It's about what you do when you get back to your regular routine. I just came back from Chuck E. Cheese with my family, right? We're human beings. So what are you going to do when stress hits you? What are you going to do when all these things hit your life? Are you still going to stay committed? I always say I can tell a person's true character is exposed when hard times hit. That's when that real person shows up. And if you're in any type of business, which you all are, of course, you're on here. If you're in any type of thing where you're trying to live your dream and your vision, you have to have commitment. Too many people that I see live a life full of incompletion. They move on to the next thing. They're trying to find the next trend. One of the best things that helped me, and when I say these numbers, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to show you that literally I started from the ground up. I didn't have, a book that helped me, promote my career. I didn't have somebody shot me out. I didn't have really great mentors like you guys have. I literally started rehab time for myself from the ground up. But one thing that really helped me was understanding that I was going to sign up for this for the long run. Like, it was no other option. So what I did was I cut the rope bridge off so I couldn't go back. I said, when this is hard, I'm not going to go to the next trend. I'm not going to do something else because this isn't working out. And I always live by impact. And this might seem crazy to say in the social media world. I have 10 million followers across social media. And I'll tell you this. It's always impact over numbers. Numbers can lie to you, right? People say numbers don't lie. Numbers can lie to you. And I'll tell you why. When I first started my speaking career, I remember like it was yesterday. Of course, you would tell everybody to come support you, and a few people would, but literally it would be like one row of people, probably like 15 to 20 people that was there for me of my first speaking careers. When I made my videos, now one video just got 100 million views, but I remember when I first started, it would be like 10, 20 views, like literally. And the numbers were telling me that this wasn't for me. The numbers were telling me that this wasn't my purpose. The numbers were telling me that you need to do something else. The numbers were telling me that this dream is wrong. But I always believed in impact. I said, if I can impact one life, which was my own at first, because inspiration starts there. Too many times we try to impact the world without impacting our own lives. We try to inspire the world without inspiring ourselves. So it starts with you. So I said, if I can impact my own life and impact just one or two, then I can impact and change the world. And this was literally in 2010, probably when I first said this. So right now, you watching this, you might not have the numbers that you want. You might not necessarily be in a position that you're in. But when you focus on impact and you don't focus on numbers, I promise you the numbers will take care of itself. So my thing is this for you guys, whether it's, your business, your personal life, like sign up for forever. Say, you know what, when it gets hard, I'm going to find a way. If a way doesn't exist, I'm going to create a way. And the people that I know that make tremendous impact in this world, I know a lot of people that do it. They literally have that mindset, right? If the door is closed, I'm going to find another way in. If the door is closed, I'm going to kick down the door, right? I'm not going to accept less or no for an answer when it comes to my dream. So commitment means taking full responsibility. So many people in this world, and this was me at a point, right? Live life like this, right? We point the finger. Oh, it's this person's fault. It's the environment's fault. It's the product's fault. It's whoever's fault. And we live life like that. And I'll be real with you. Maybe those things are true, even in relationships. Maybe those things are true. But as long as you're pointing the finger outwards, you're giving that situation, that person, that environment, whatever it may be, the power to control your life. My life literally changed when I say, you know what, no matter what's happening, I pointed the thumb at myself. I said, it's on me. I'm going to take full responsibility because you have two choices. You can make moves or you can make excuses. And excuses aren't going to get you anywhere. I can tell you right now. Even the smallest move can turn into the biggest step that you make in your career, that you make in your life, period. So if I'm you right now, I'm saying, you know what? I'm taking full responsibility over my business. I'm taking full responsibility over my life. I'm not going to allow anything to control that. You have the option to do that, right? It's on you. You have that choice. I guess as an action item for you guys watching this, you ladies on here watching this, guys, everybody watching this, I tend to say guys a lot, it just comes out of my mouth. But an action item to stay committed that I want to challenge you guys to do is find something small, right, that you can be committed to. You know, sometimes we think of something grand, like some big, great. At 5:30 a.m. Maybe you're already doing this, but I'm gonna get up at 5:30 a.m. and I'm gonna spend the first hour of the day for myself because I'm big on protecting my peace. I'm big. Too many times as people, we spend too much time pouring to other people that we have nothing left for ourselves. So it's not selfish to practice self-care. Maybe you can be committed to that. Maybe you can be committed to, you know, going to the gym. I have a process called the 4 A's that I do. I always say how you start your day influences your day. And people love when I talk about this simple stuff that probably you already do, but it just puts a framework around it. So the 4 A's every single day, well, I try to do it every single day. When I don't do it, I feel it. The first day is you wake up with appreciation. That's obvious, right? 150,000 people die every day. That means like 55 million people a year. If you can't find something to be appreciative for, be appreciative for your life. Be appreciative for yourself. Understand this fact, like there's nobody, and I just hope that you guys get this. Hope you already know this. There's nobody in the world that's created like you, period. When you understand that power of your uniqueness, like that's where your true strength comes from. The thing that I see a lot of people do, they trade in their identity for popularity. They trade in their identity for whatever it may be, for a short-term gain. And you got to realize this, like there's a 0% chance, literally, basically 0% chance of you being you. So if you're looking for a miracle, look at yourself. Like when you truly own that, when you truly get that, like really get it, not just hear it, but you really get it, that's when the power releases from your life. So be appreciative for that. So the first day is appreciation. Be appreciative for your house, your whatever, your breath, your legs, whatever you want to be. Appreciation. The second thing to do when you wake up, the second A, is affection, right? If you're married, give your spouse a hug. You have kids, give them hugs. If you don't have any of those, send some love through the phone. Well, actually, don't grab your phone. Don't do that. Send some love to somebody when you interact with them. Affection. Affection is huge. I always say a hug a day keeps depression away. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. Science is behind that. You can look it up. All right, the third thing to do is accomplishment. Okay, set a small win for your get to work. We start responding to the world. That's living a responsive life. People that live at a high level don't live a responsive life. They're not being led by life, right? When you're living a responsive life, you're being led by life. So when life gives you stress, you're stressful. When life gives you hard times, you surrender to those hard times. When life gives you pain, you trying to give me stress, but I'm not having that. I'm about to tell life where I want to take life. I'm going to do what I want to do that's on my heart to do, what I'm called to do. So when you wake up, set a goal for yourself to win. Maybe it's writing in your journal. This is funny. I used to have a basketball goal outside. I used to be at 7 foot because I'm too old to dunk a 10-foot goal. But literally I would go outside, grab a basketball because I'm an athlete. Just dunking just is like powerful thing for an athlete. I would go out there, dunk the basketball to start my day. People say, oh, that's crazy. But literally how it made me feel accomplished. I literally started my day off with a win. How you start your day, again, will influence your day. And the fourth A, the 4A process, the fourth A is activity. Activity, go for a walk, go for a jog, go to the gym, etc. And everything I talked about literally is backed by science with your brain. You're releasing oxytocin, serotonin, you're releasing endorphins in your brain. Obviously, you have a dopamine hit. When you win, we get that dopamine hit. So set your day off with this. And I promise you, if you start your day off like this, it's going to be very, very hard for you to get unfocused. It's going to be very hard for you to get off track. And when life hits you in the face, I promise you, you're going to have a better defense mechanism to operate through life. Okay. So Implement that if you can with commitment. So the first A in championship mindset is commitment. The first thing in championship mindset is commitment. The second thing in championship mindset is discipline. Discipline is simply this for me. Getting good at saying no to the things that don't get you a yes. And it's just that simple. Does this move me closer to a win? Does this move me closer to the greatest me? And I'm not trying to end friendships or anything like this. You guys can follow my videos. I talk about all of that stuff a lot. But I'm big. You're reading my book, The Greatest You. I have a whole chapter over burning bridges. I'm big on burning the bridges in your life that do not serve you or grow you. And those bridges aren't always people. Sometimes those bridges, a lot of times, are our habits. The habits that don't help us, right? The poor habits. We're expecting excellent results by operating with poor habits. It's not going to happen like that. You change your habits, the small things you do daily, you will change your life. Your environment. Some of us, we're trying to operate at a high level by staying in an environment that keeps us at a low level. It's like if you took the most beautiful flower in the world, right? You took this flower, it's beautiful, it has all the potential, right? You took it and you put this flower in the wrong environment, right? Say Phoenix or something like that, right? Where it's the desert. You put it in the wrong environment. And what's going to happen to that flower? That flower is going to die, or that flower is going to grow. No matter of the potential it has, no matter how beautiful it can be, it's not going to happen because it's in the wrong environment. Some of us, we're not growing, we're not progressing. Excuse me. Is that my phone? Oh yeah, it is. So I'm going to turn this off. Some of us, we're not growing, we're not progressing. I'm sure, and I know this is a growth environment because you're in here right now. But outside of this, check your environment. When I changed my environment, I literally changed my life. I had to let go of certain friendships. And it wasn't always bad friendships, but it was friendships that when I looked at their mindset wasn't helping me getting to where I want to go. And it's not about using somebody, because I want to make sure my mindset is a reflection of the people around me. But literally, how can I be around people that don't have the mindsets are contagious? What you surround your life around is exactly what you're going to be like. So do a checklist. Look around. Get in your phone. You know what? One thing you can do right now, check your text messages. Check them. See what you and your friends been talking about. And I get it. You know, it doesn't have to be always business. I'm not that guy that's like, you need to be talking about what you're doing and your goals 24/7, 365. We're human beings. But check the percentage of your conversations with certain people. Is it always talking about drama? Is it talking about things that don't move your life forward all the time? Hey, man, I love you guys, but I can't be on here because ain't nobody on here talking about things that are challenging each other. That's what friends and family are for. They should be growing you. They should be pushing you to another level. They should be challenging you. They're not just yes men or yes women. They'll tell you when you're messing up. But I got more conversation than literally this small thing. You might say, 2018 was the best year of my life. And literally, it was these small steps that I made changes. I literally stopped talking to certain people on my phone, and I got around more growth conversations. I put myself in more growth environments. I went to masterminds. Even I'm an introverted person. If you don't know me, I am literally probably the quietest person in the room. I feel awkward. It's crazy because I'm a speaker, right? But I feel awkward when I get around people I don't know. It's just how I've always been. I'm not shy. It's different from me. But I say, you know what? I'm going to step outside my comfort zone. I'm going to walk into my fear, and I'm going to get around these growth environments. And literally, just by being in an environment of growth, it changed my life. It challenged me. It opened up my mindset. And so while we're on that real quick, even the word fear, I know a lot of people get paralyzed by fear, right? It's like, that's the number one thing. I have a fear of the word, somebody telling me no. I have a fear of failing. I have a fear of, feeling like I'm not enough. Fear is a human emotion. But the thing I always say about emotions and how you feel and feelings are real, but feelings aren't always right. The best way I got over fear is I realized like what fear is. I know we have the cool definitions like false evidence appearing real and, all those other things that are super cool, right? But I really realized what fear is. First of all, fear isn't real, but I said, well, how can I get over this? As a speaker, public speaking literally was my biggest fear, like many of us are, right? It's like the number one fear. People would rather die. I always say people would rather people would rather be in the casket than give the eulogy, right? So I told myself, it's like, well, if I'm going to be a speaker, I got to figure a way to get over this fear. How can I do that? So the thing that I did was I evaluated it. And I'm not going to get into this whole story about me skydiving. It'll take too long. But skydiving really helped me do this. I'm not telling you that you got to go skydive. Go do it if you want. But I told myself, I wonder what's my biggest fear. And it was really like afraid of heights. And I said, I'm going to go attack it. Because I know if I get over this fear, then I can always use this as leverage in my life to get over other fears. So to make a long story short, I get in this plane and I'm terrified. Like, I'm almost about to use the bathroom on myself. I'm terrified. And there's like 3 other guys in there. So I'm trying to be macho man, but I'm scared. And I know my homeboy is scared, but he ain't showing it. And so we get up there and we're about to jump out the plane. I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. And I said, well, I have to do it because I'm up here. So immediately I started to realize why I was scared. And literally it was because I had thoughts of this parachute's not going to open. I'm going to die. All of these things. And it clicked for me. I said, fear is nothing but creating a known result from a situation that you haven't experienced yet. I'm going to say that again. It's creating a known result from a situation you haven't experienced yet. So when I started to think about that in all the areas of my life where I felt fear, like speaking, I was like, I get it now. Because literally before I speak, I'm telling myself that I'm going to suck. Nobody's going to care. People are going to fall asleep. I'm not going to bring any value. I'm telling myself all these negative things. So why would I ever walk through the door of fear if I'm telling myself what awaits on the other side of the door is nothing positive? I'm never going to do it. It's like a fighter telling himself that he's going to lose the fight. So why would he ever step in the ring? So I said, let me change what awaits on the other side of the door. Let me change that result. And so immediately, well, it wasn't immediately. I went through a whole process, but we'll take too long for that. But I say, this is going to be the most incredible thing ever. I say, you know what? After I conquer this fear, talking about skydiving, I will be able to use this as leverage in my whole entire life. Change my mindset towards it. Jumped out the plane. Most incredible thing ever. And now when I speak, I do the same thing. And I know a lot of us in here, you have to speak to people. I know you have to, you guys are leaders. You guys are on stage. And I'm sure you all are incredible. But the thing I realized just as a speaker, and I want to share this with you real quick, I realized when it came to fear, I was too focused on, especially public speaking, I was too focused on being perfect. I want you to really listen to that. I was too focused on being perfect. I was worried about if I was going to sound right, if I was going to say the right things. And to me, that goes directly against what you're there for. If you're focused on yourself, that's selfish. You should be focused on who you're serving. And if you're a servant, that's what we are. You're serving. You have service. You're a servant. Realize that. It's not about what people can give to you. It's about how you can provide value to people. Because when you provide value to enough people, trust me, by default, value comes back to you. And so on stage, I started to realize that, like, I'm backstage, like, nervous a little bit. And I said, Trent, you're being selfish. You're focusing about you. You're worrying about what you got on, how you looking. You're too focused on you. Focus on serving. And literally, when I changed my mindset towards that, now, I speak on stages, thousands of people, and a lot. And it always helps me get over that fear. So that's just something I wanted to tie in there. If you're ever scared on stage, I promise you're worried about yourself too much, and you're not worried about just serving. Just go serve. Be your authentic, real self, and trust me, you'll impact the lives that need to be impacted. So circling back around when it comes to discipline. All right, get good at saying no to the things that don't get you a yes. I always say purpose over pleasure, right? Purpose over pleasure, period. Does this go against what I stand for? That helps me be disciplined because I get opportunities all the time, like that a lot of people would love to take that, whether it's 20 grand, 10, 15 grand for, certain things for me to do, but those certain things aren't what I stand for. And so I'm so loyal to what I stand for and my principles. I don't even have to think about it. I'm not controlled by the external things. And I want you guys to really like dive in with that, because we live in an influencer world now with social media that I see so many people controlled by the external things. They're controlled by followers. How can I get my followers quick? How can I get money quick? How can I get all these things? And listen, those things, I get it. It's a part of life. It's a part of your brand. Cool. But if these things are in the driver's seat of your life, it's going to take your life to a place that you probably won't be fulfilled at. And to me, that's what success is. Success isn't your bank account. Success isn't how many followers you have on social media. Success isn't, any of those things. Success is literally fulfillment. Fulfillment. Because I know rich people that are unfulfilled. I know popular people that are unfulfilled. You see that a lot. You see people commit suicide that seem like they have it all. So fulfillment should be what you're after. But if you have these other things in the driver's seat of your life, I promise you it's going to be so hard to be fulfilled because you're not coming from a pure place. When you operate from a pure place, a real place, it might take longer in the long run to grow your brand, to grow your business, but your foundation is steady. It's not built upon sand, it's built upon rock. Okay, so discipline is number 2. Number 3, I'm just trying to go through this real quick. I don't want to be on here for 3 hours. Number 3, consistency. All right, consistency. Anchor your actions in greatness. So daily you produce nothing less than your very best. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Consistency is probably the best talent that a person can have, period. I am not the most talented speaker, I would tell you that. I'm not the smartest person, like by far. But one thing I've been over the last 10 years that a lot of people haven't been, as far as like that maybe started with me, is consistent. When you're consistent, you become reliable. Like, get this, when you're consistent, you become reliable. When you're reliable, you become trustworthy. There's nothing better in this world than a trustworthy person. I get this question, Trent, how did you grow your social media? Like, what's the secret? And I tell people, like, they're looking for me to tell them some hack or something like that. I'm like, this is the secret. Be consistent. Be real. Be transparent. But be consistent. You cannot come with an on and off switch. It can't be, 1 week I'm on fire, I'm excited. Then the next 3 weeks, you disappear. Then that 1 week comes, I'm on fire, I'm excited. The next 3 weeks, you disappear. That's not going to grow anything. 1 step forward, 3 steps back, it's not going to move you forward. Don't come with an on and off switch. Are you saying, well, Trent, can I have bad days? Of course you can. Of course you're going to have times where you want to disconnect often. I talk about that a lot in my message. But if you're not a consistent person, you're not going to be trustworthy. I asked this question to my supporters. I say, why do you guys follow me? They say, I said, why do you guys come to my page? They tell me every time, I come to your page because I know I'm going to find something that's going to give me some happiness or worth or joy. Every time. I know I'm not going to come to your page and find something random. I know exactly what I'm going to go to you for. The reason why everybody goes to Starbucks, because they know that coffee is consistent. The reason why you go to your favorite food place is because it's consistent. Like, realize that. It might not be the best, but it's consistent. You know what you're going to get from that place. So my question to you is this. Do people know what they're going to get from you? Think about that. If I parachuted in your life right now, because it's easy to talk it, it's easy to type it, it's easy to post it, right? That's easy. Don't say too much. Like, I get it. Your presentation, it does matter, but your presentation isn't everything. Get that. Especially when I'm talking about your life as a person. Because some of us, we want to project things that our life doesn't reflect. So if I parachuted down in your life, if I came down here to visit your offline self, the self that really matters, the self that you can't fool, the self that you see every single day in the mirror, because we can fool social media. We can fool other people. You won't fool them too long because results will show. But you can fool them for a short period of time. But there's one person that you can't fool, and that's you. So if I was to parachute down in your life, what would your life say? Now, I'm not talking about what you talk about. I'm not talking about what you preach about. I'm not talking about, what you post about. What would your life say? And to put this back on me, and I just like to be transparent and real. Like, I'm not the guy that's going to make it seem like I have it all together, because nobody does. Like, that's definitely not me. I'm not trying to put myself in that perfection bubble, because that's a place that, is miserable. You know, I like to be real. I like to put myself in a progressive bubble. I just say, look at my life and see me progress. Last year, you can go on my Instagram, you can see it. Last year, 2018, I was, you know, I've been a sports player my whole entire life, right? I love fitness. As Rhonda said, you know, she trained at the gym with me. Like, it's a part of me, right? But last year, I lost myself. And I have a saying that says, live it, breathe it, be it. That's a part of rehab time. Live it, breathe it, be it. And I got up to, because I use an excuse. I'm traveling and I don't have time to work out. I'm traveling and I don't have time to work on myself. You know, I was in London and I was in Australia and Fiji and all these places. And I'm looking successful online, but offline, I wasn't progressing. Offline, I was falling back. Offline, I was losing myself, to be real with you. This is just last year. So I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, actually, you know what happened? I'll tell you exactly what happened. I recorded a video. And listen, be happy with who you are. I'm not saying like if you weigh a certain whatever, but I know me. I always say my external is a reflection of my internal, right? So if I'm out of shape for myself, it's because I'm not practicing the habits that I need to practice, right? So we recorded this video in Fiji and my producer sends it to me and I didn't post it because I'm looking at myself. I have this big belly, my face is full and I'm out of shape, just completely. And I was embarrassed. Like literally I was embarrassed. I'm like, gosh, like look at this. And it was a reflection of my internal self because I stopped practicing my habits. I got comfortable. The championship mindset that went out the window. I lost my discipline and I got up to 248 pounds. Now that is a lot for me. Okay. I'm usually a guy that's about 215, maybe 220, 210 in that range. I got up to 248 pounds last year. You can look at my pictures. Like you can tell my old videos that I post from last year by far. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, you're talking it, you're not living it. I said, you're not living, breathing, and being it. And if you can't be honest with yourself like that, then who can you be real with? And I said, I got to do something about it. And literally what I did was I said, what can I control? You know, too many times we focus on the things we can't control so much. We focus on, you know, how much our business grows. Yes, we can influence that, but we can't necessarily like always predict that, right? We can't say, okay, this person is going to sign up or whatever it may be. We can influence it by our habits and put ourselves in the best position. But so many times we try to focus on the things that are kind of out of our control. We might can influence it, but we necessarily can't fully control it, right? And so for me, I said, what can I fully control? That depends on nobody else but myself. And I said, you know what? Your body. You can control fitness. So last year, I went on a fitness journey. I signed up for the New York City Marathon at my worst out of shape place. I didn't get to run it because I had to coach my son's team. But literally, I got a trainer in my life. And that's like super humbling for a professional athlete to get a trainer. I signed up for a trainer. I did all these things because I say, you know what? I want to be the greatest me. And I'm going to expose myself. Like not in a way that's a bad way. But I'm going to expose all my flaws, all my insecurities. Like exposing yourself is good. I'm going to expose the things that I lack at. You see, so many times we try to keep everything within. We try to make everything look perfect and say, oh, I don't need help because we think I need help is a weakness. Saying I need help is the greatest strength you can have. I promise you. Because when you say that, you automatically are probably going to get help, especially when you have a community like this. You're going to get the help that you need that's going to grow your life. So when I said I needed help in my business life, I got the counsel that I needed, and I had the best business year last year in my life. And that was in a half a year. When I say, you know what, I need help in my fitness life. I got a trainer, and I'm pretty much in the best shape I've been in. Now I get do you play football or something? Like I stopped getting that for a while. You know, I was out of shape. So now I'm getting that again. Who do you play for? Like I love that because it shows me that I'm in the shape I need to be in. In my mental part of my life, there were things that I lacked at, right? There were certain disciplines and certain structure I didn't have. And instead of acting like I had it all together, I asked for that help. Now, all these things in my life have been 10x'd because I said I needed help, right? So I know this is kind of a little off from consistency, but don't be afraid to ask for help. Be consistent in asking for help. Be consistent with being real with yourself. Be consistent in your brand. Be consistent in who you are. Do people know what they're going to get from you? So a challenge for everybody watching this, just find one little thing you can be consistent in. Like one little area of your life that, you know, if you change it, if you tweaked it, it will make major changes. Because sometimes it's not about making these big changes. Sometimes it's tweaking the small things. Like it's like a car, right? Sometimes you don't have to do something major to a car. You just fix a little something, give it an oil change, and it starts to run better. It starts to run smoother. And it's the same thing with our life. If we just make these little tiny adjustments, these little things, and be consistent in that, it can make major changes in our business and in our life, okay? So 3 is consistency. Number 4 is faith. And faith is simply believing the odds are beatable even when the odds say it's impossible. Faith is in your feet. And something I love to say, Dr. Tony Evans taught me this, and he gave me an aha moment. Faith is in your feet. Faith is not your words necessarily. It's in your feet. You should be a reflection of your thoughts. You should be a reflection of what you believe in. You should be walking out where you say you want to go. You should have that vision. You should have that vision. You should be progressing towards that vision. I like to break down, I'm just trying to give you as much value information as I can while I'm on here. I like to break down goals, right? Because you need faith to accomplish goals in your life. I like to break goals down to the simplest form. I just did a video with my son. You can watch it on Facebook Watch, but I wanted to share this with you guys real quick because I always see a disconnect in people. And I like to keep things elementary. Like if I can't teach it to my son, then I don't need to teach it to adults. I like to keep things elementary. So when it comes to goals, I gave my son this breakdown. I call it the rehab map, okay, for rehab time. I say, you know what? This is where you want to take your life somewhere where it's never been. For him it was the NFL. For you, I don't know what your insane, wildly goals are. And listen, keep them big. When I told people I literally would speak in Africa, people laughed at me. Like, yeah, right, Trent. Yeah, sure. I've been to South Africa twice. I've been to my own events in Fiji. I've been to my own events that I threw my own self in Auckland, New Zealand. I mean, all across the world. So I'm a believer in believing in the impossible. Because somebody got to make it possible. Why not it be you? Right? Why not it be you? What excuse are you giving yourself? Start saying, why me? Right? I mean, why not me? You've been saying like, why me so much? Why do I have to go through the why not you? Right? There's something inside of you that's bigger than everything you've been going through. Okay? So let's break down these goals right quick. Write this down. Something simple. You probably already do it. You probably have a process, but this is to keep it simple. Maybe you can teach it to your kids or apply it to your own life. So in order to get somewhere we've never been, the first thing we have to have is a destination, okay? Destination is vision. You got to have somewhere you're going. It's like if you got in the car, you wouldn't just drive around like a lot of people are in life. Some people don't have a destination. They're just driving, wasting gas, wasting time. They're just driving with their own lives, right? Wasting breath, wasting air, wasting their life. They have no focus, right? They have no destination. So what's your destination? And it might be a week destination. It might be a year. It might be, a 10-year destination. Depends on how you operate. You can have all 3 of those things. But what's your destination? Okay. A lot of people do have that. Okay. Maybe 50%. The next thing that you got to have for destination, if we're trying to get to a place, you got to have direction, right? A lot of people don't put in this part of it. They might have a vision and know where they want to go, but they don't have a plan to get there. So like, what's your plan? What are 3 things right now that you can do today, that you can do this week that's going to move you closer to your destination? That's going to move your goals, your dreams, your business forward. Like the small things. What are 3 things? I don't need you to write down 20. What are literally 3 wins that you could do that literally will help you move closer to your destination? So I call that directions, right? How are we going to get there? What's the way? What are we going to do? Right? We write these things down. Simple stuff. But the simplest things are the hardest things to apply, right? Just facts. We got direction. We got destination. Most people have this. Some people have these. But I can tell you right now, less than 10% have this next part, and that's drive. There's so many people out there that got plans. There's so many people in there that talk about it. There's so many people that got vision boards, and those things are great. I'm not saying anything against those things. Those things are great. I got mine. But those things aren't enough. There's so many people out there with dreams. Dreaming is not enough. It's time to wake up, right? Your life should be better than your dreams. I say that all the time. So many people have visions. Visions is not enough. Motivation, inspiration is not enough. It's not. It's about what are you going to do after that you have that dream. And this last D is drive, right? You got to get in the car. You can have all the directions in the world. You can have the destination. But if you never get in the car and drive, you're not going to go anywhere. And drive is just simply the action of today. You making it happen. So you going to do the hard things. So if it's working out, it's you going to the gym and working out. If it's coming on this call, right? This is drive. You came on this call. It's actually not just putting out the plan, but it's executing the plan. Because the pretty layout journal and everything's neat and it looks beautiful. You can post it online and it looks, that's great. It's beautiful. It might get a lot of likes. But if you're not driving, it doesn't matter how many likes you get. And I know this might hit some people and step on some toes, but I really want you guys to change. I really want you guys to create an impact that's going to last forever. And we go back to that offline life. You know, that online stuff is just, I see so many people fall in love. And it's crazy because I was just sharing this with my wife earlier. Like with social media, you got to be super like aware of this because it's so easy to get that dopamine hit. If you don't know what dopamine is, look it up when you get off of here. It's so easy to get that dopamine hit that a like gives you, that a heart button gives you, that a good compliment gets you. It's so addictive for that. And literally with social media, you can get that without actually putting in the work. Like you literally can fool people. I know somebody right now, literally on Facebook, that is putting things on Facebook that they're getting likes and attention for that they're not doing offline. But they fall in love with the presentation. They fall in love with the faking it till you make it part because they're getting love for it. So don't get so caught up, in social media in that aspect of it. Right? I can go in there right now and say, oh, I made $1 million today. I didn't, but I can say that and people go, oh, that's awesome, Trent. That's great. And I'm proud of you. And literally the dopamine hit will make me feel like that's really true when it wasn't. And I know that seems crazy, but so many people fall in love with that. Fall in love with the work you do offline. One of my goals, just even throughout this process of rehab time, I say, you know what? I want to work so hard at what I do. And this is becoming contagious. This is when your life becomes contagious. And what you guys do, like, it's very important for your life to become contagious. Excuse me. I said, I want to work so hard at what I do that and be so efficient at what I do that I don't have to tell people what I do. They ask me what I do. I want my work to speak for itself. And this might seem, it's not really arrogant, but it's just real. Like I want people to know my work so much they know who I am, so I don't have to introduce myself anymore. Oh, that's Trent Shelton. That's rehab time. And I know the only way that happens is if I live it, if I breathe it, if I be it consistently, if I have this championship mindset. See, a lot of us, we have it backwards. We want to tell the world everything, what we're doing all the time, instead of actually proving it to ourselves and showing people. I don't want to tell you, I want to show you. I want you to be around me so you can believe in it too. So it becomes contagious to you. So now you ask me, hey, what is it that you're doing? I want to be a part of that. I want to do that. You're a walking reflection of it. Whatever it is, I want some of that because I see the way you're living. I see how energized you are. I see how much growth you have in your life. I want some of that. And so that's a part of the brand. Like you becoming the brand, you becoming it. Okay. So yeah, that's 4 is faith. Okay. Throw a blanket over the scoreboard. We all know that people who have achieved much have went through much. You can look at Walt Disney, Oprah, anybody's story, literally. I mean, you can find your leader's story in here, I'm sure, and you see so much test that turns into testimony, so much mess that turns into a message, okay? So that's faith. Faith is just keep going no matter what. The last thing, I'm sorry I'm going all over the place. I'm just trying to give you guys as much value as I can in my brain to just pour into you real quick. The last thing with championship mindset, all right? So we talked about commitment was 1. We talked about discipline was 2. 3 was consistency, 4 was faith, and in between that, we talked about a lot of other stuff, but those are the 4. And the 5th one is heart, okay? Heart. What's heart, Trent? Heart is simply finding the strength to give more, even when everything else, even yourself, says you have nothing left. And the question that I want to leave everybody on here with is, what's the legacy that you're going to leave? You know, one leverage question that I ask myself, I call it leverage question because I like to gain leverage on my life. I like to ask a question that makes me wake up, that puts a shock through my body, that gets me off my butt, that gets me from being lazy, right? Those human things that come over us. My leverage question that I ask myself more often than not is, what's really going to matter at the end of life? And I operate from there. I ask myself, what does this really mean? What I mean by that is even success. What does success mean to you? And we all have different definitions, but I know my definition was programmed in me since I was young from an environment that I grew up in. I thought success was all these external things. And I realized like those things can buy happiness. Happiness, as Ed Milet says, my good friend Ed says, happiness can be bought. It's a cheap emotion. I definitely agree. But I realized that all these cheap happiness that was being bought that I thought was success wasn't success because I was still losing myself. So what's the meaning of your, how do you define success? What's your definition of life? Like how you define things control your life. I call it perspective shifts. Your perspective can either be your power or your prison. So if you're listening right now, maybe some of you are like, Trent, I get it. That's easier said than done. Like that's the thing I get all the time from people. Trent, that's easier said than done. And you're thinking of all these excuses. I want to tell you right now, you have a prison perspective. You're thinking about all the reasons why you can't do something. You're thinking about your limitations. You have a limited mindset that needs to be changed. Or you have a power. You say, you know what? I don't know how it's going to happen, but you better believe I'm going to make it happen. That's a power perspective. You don't focus on all the can'ts. You find the one can, the one I have to for this. We talk about the why, the reason so much, your heartbeat. That's stronger than any obstacle, any failure, any challenge, any hater. It's stronger than all of that. Those things don't matter. Those things cannot stop your life without your permission. I want to please dive into my content if you haven't, because I can't talk about everything I've done for 18 hours. But listen, I do want to share this what's on my heart. Nothing can stop your life without your permission. Where your life is today, and this might sting a bit for some of you, where your life is today, it's your fault. You might say, well, Trent, no, it's not my fault. It's your fault. I didn't say how your life got there is your fault. Maybe something brought you here, pain, circumstances. I get that. But where you're choosing to keep your life today or where you choose not to keep it, that's on you. I can't change your life. Rhonda, your team, your leaders can't change your life. They can influence change. They can give you the tools, but you got to pick up the tools and build it. Can't nobody do anything for you on that level as far as change but yourself. And change starts with a choice. And the beautiful thing about life is every single day we have a choice. We got a choice to stay the same, we got a choice to move backwards, or we got a choice to progress. Nothing can control your life without your permission. If you're having painful stuff in your life, you're allowing it to take place. I want you to think about that. You're allowing it. And once you love yourself more and know your worth, you were created with worth. You were created with worth. There's nobody like you. You was given worth at birth. But when you start to let people determine your worth and circumstances determine your worth, all these external things tell you how much you're worth and your value, you start to believe that, that's when you start to lose yourself. So if I can give you anything today, if you got anything, rediscover yourself. Because the most important work you ever will do is the work that you do on yourself. There's literally a you inside of you that you haven't even met yet. Think about that. There's a you inside of you that you haven't even met yet. There's a you inside of you that's stronger than everything you've ever been through. That's stronger than everything you're going to go through. And that you is that greatest you. How would it feel to meet that person this year? And guess what? The greatest you always grows. 2020 is going to be another greatest you. 2021, another greatest you. But how would it feel to meet the greatest you of 2019? Think about that for a second. Close your eyes if you can. Like, what are you doing? Who are you around? How's your family life? How is your life? Peace. Like, what are you like? Are you protecting your peace every day? Do you feel great? You're not really stressed? What does your body look like? Not even necessarily body look like, but how do you feel? Your health. Because how your body looks like will be a reflection of how you feel at the end of the day. I can promise you that. Taking care of what you put in your body, what you put in your life, what you put in your mind, what you put in your soul. These are things that aren't talked about enough. You know, in the business world, we talk a lot about how to grow your business, how to scale, and those things are necessary. But you know what? It doesn't matter how much your business grows if you don't grow. You want to grow your business, grow your life. I promise you that. Grow your mindset. Because when you're congruent, when you have a foundation, right? When you have a solid foundation, everything else becomes a lot easier. I'm not going to say easy, but it becomes a lot easier. And so that's what heart is all about. Just finding that strength even during the storms. No storm lasts forever. Finding that strength even when it seems like everything is going against you. Having that gardener's mindset. For you people in here that plant and garden, you know what I'm talking about. You know that something's going to grow even if you can't see it growing. You know that seed has been planted. So when you plant that seed and you water that seed and you take care of that seed has no choice but to grow. It might not grow when it should grow. It might not grow when you want it to grow. But if you stay consistent, if you stay committed, if you stay disciplined, you have faith and you have heart, that seed will grow. I can promise you that. Like I always tell you, it all starts with you. Leave your mark every single day. Please, leave your mark. And for you guys that got kids in here, your kids are watching you. What's the legacy that you're going to leave? You're going to make them have to spend a lot of time recovering from their childhood, or are you going to give them the necessary tools to build a greater life? Think about that. The only way we can change the future, we first got to change ourselves, and we got to get the tools to our kids. If you don't have kids, there's a lot of places around where you can volunteer. Just think about that with your life. But leave your mark every day and make the world respect your greatness. Please, make the world respect your greatness. They don't have to like you. They don't have to agree with you. They don't have to love you. But they got to respect you when you respect yourself. It's rehab time. I'm going to get off here because it's almost been an hour. So I don't want to keep talking and put y'all to sleep. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in and standing here. And Rhonda, thank you for sharing your platform. If they have questions, if we have time, I'm open for those too. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. If any of you guys have questions, type them in the chat area. Trent, I have 5 pages worth of notes. So that was amazing. I could obviously say so many great things, but I think I know for me, probably one of the reasons I truly love you so much is you make us feel that we're just like you. We're no more special or different. And I'm not saying the rest of the speakers out there do that, but you definitely have a gift of making us feel like, hey, we are just like you. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. It makes me feel like I can do anything just because I'm like, he's just like me.
There you go. And that's one of my, I love that. Like I love to hear that feedback because, and the reason that is because when I was growing up, I always saw people and I was like, man, I can never be that person. So I was like, I always want to make sure I'm relatable. And you're relatable by being transparent. I think that's why people feel that. It's because like, oh, like Trent goes through stuff too. Oh, okay, cool. If he can do it, I can do it. And so, yeah, I appreciate you for telling me that because I definitely love to give that off to the world for sure.
Cool. You're so relatable. I do have a question just because I would love everybody to hear about your new book. So in my online groups, we do a personal development book every single month, a different one. And I know yours comes out in May. Can you tell us a little bit about it? I know you talked online a little bit, but could you tell everybody a little bit about it so we can all grab it and tell us the best place to get it too?
Yeah, for sure. So my book is called The Greatest You, and it attacks the rehab process. And so a big chapter is championship mindset. So if you pick up the book, you'll actually read in depth of championship mindset. But it goes over the rehab process. And so my process of rehab time, I break life down. I feel like you can take this in any part of your life in the 3 R's. Okay, the first R is reality, right? You have to face your truth. You'll never fix what you're not willing to face. And so the first part of the book is really pushing people to say, hey, like I have to walk through this door in order to get to the other side. One thing I love to say is you'll never win your war by running from your battle. So that's the first section. The second section is release. I kind of talked about that today, about burning the bridges. People say don't burn bridges. I agree. There's certain bridges you shouldn't burn for minor reasons, but there's certain bridges in your life that don't need to be there no more, that you keep going back to and you're expecting something to change, but it's not. Maybe it's a habit, maybe it's a person. And so I spend a big chunk on releasing the things in your life that need to be released. And the third part is repair. Repair is digging up the roots in our life. Like we have to realize, like, a lot of times we look for surface level solutions, right? Maybe it's, I'll just use a relationship, for example. Maybe you're in a bad relationship and you get out that relationship, right? That's the solution. You're like, okay, I need to get out of here. Cool. But then you find yourself in another relationship that's maybe similar. And I tell people the surface level solution is to remove yourself, if that's what it's called. But a deeper question would be like, why do I keep putting myself in these type of situations? There's a root issue there that you have to ask yourself why to get down to the bottom. So if it's habits, like, why do I keep, why am I not disciplined? Like, why do I don't believe, just being transparent? It was times when in football and sports, I always thought I wasn't enough because I had a teacher when I was in second grade that told me football would never happen for me. You would basically fail at it. And so every time failure showed up, that teacher's thoughts in my brain showed up. And I didn't even realize that's where that seed was. So it's a big part of digging up that seed, right? Saying that seed was a lie. It's not the truth. It was that person's view and that person's own projection of themselves. And you put a new seed in there so you can actually, live your life and actually make a lasting change in your life. So that's the process of the book. And it just helps you become the greatest version of yourself and help you turn that pain into power.
I love that. I love that. Now, you also said you're going to have an Audible as well, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have an audiobook, which, man, if y'all please get the audiobook, because that was a struggle. That was like 16 hours of work. My voice was going out. So I'll tell everybody, get the audiobook because I'll put in work on that.
And I'm excited it's you. I love it when it's the actual person. I'm excited you did it.
Yeah, people will support me. It's like, it better be you. You got to go in there and do it. So it's me. And so you can pre-order the book at thegreatestYouBook.com. It comes out May 7th. It'll be everywhere. I mean, it'll be in Target. Anywhere you can buy books, it'll be there. Also, Rhonda, I'm not sure, if you guys want, if you say, hey, my group wants a certain amount of books, whatever, I can work that out to where I can get you guys a discount too. So just let me know.
Perfect. Awesome. We will definitely do that. I have one question right here, and then we'll let you go. It says, how long after you lost your football contract did you find what your purpose was?
Great question. That's a good one. Who asked that question?
It's Shonda.
You said, what's her name?
Shonda. Like Rhonda, but Shonda.
Oh, Shonda. Great question, Shonda. So I stopped playing football. Well, man, this is a tough one. I'm going to try to be short because I won't take up too much time. So I stopped playing football NFL-wise 2009, but I was so afraid to let go of it because that was my identity. It's like, since I was 5 years old, who would I be without it? If I let go of football, I have no significance. So I tried to play arena football, which nothing against anybody who plays it, but it's just, you're barely getting paid. And it's just I wasn't happy doing it. What happened was I got a request from a friend that I went to college with and played with me with the Redskins. His dad had a big church, 5,000 kids, and he asked me to share my story. And I'm like, man, I don't want to do it. I was trying to talk my way out of it. I was afraid. If you ever want to you ever want to hone your speaking skills, go speak in front of kids. One of the best things you can do, because you have to be super real, transparent. They will let you know if you're boring, you're uninterested, you really have to tap in. And so I knew that. So I'm like, I don't want to do this for my first major speaking engagement. I get on stage. I literally forget everything I practiced before, my notes. I didn't bring notes, so it went blank. It was 5 minutes. So I was like, I can remember this. Went blank. And this is where I learned my speaking style. I said, I guess I just got to come from the heart. And I came from the heart, and those kids were locked in after. They were coming up to me and asking me. And I was like, on that stage is when I realized, this is what I was created to do. And that's before any videos were going viral. I was still at 24-hour at that time. So, and I left. And I'd say, you know what? I'm through with playing football. And nobody understood it, by the way. Nobody understood my vision. People thought I was crazy. Even my mom was like, okay, baby, I support you, but are you sure? You got to pay bills. Nobody understood it. But it was so strong in my heart that I knew if I just did the things I talked about here, that it would happen. And we talk about purpose. And I want to share this real quick. This is in the book also, but really quick. We talk about purpose, and this is my take on it. A lot of people haven't said this. I don't think anybody said this, but I don't believe like purpose is like something you go search for. I don't believe like the world has your purpose, right? I think the world has the validation of certain things and can let you know by like, hey, like that will justify what I call your magnet, like your gift. But I feel like you are purpose. So like you were created for purpose, on purpose. You are purpose. So what does that mean? You can take your life literally anywhere and make an impact. If you don't believe me, go outside today and go find somebody and go speak something nice to their life. Go give $1 or $10 to a person on the street corner. I guarantee that you will light them up. What you're searching for is placement, right? You want a certain placement. Where can my life be used most effectively is what you're searching for. But I just want you to understand that, because sometimes we think that this is our purpose, and when we lose this, we lose our life. So like even with rehab time is not necessarily my purpose. It's the placement of who I am, where my life can be used most effectively. I can still take this same Trent to, you see me train or wherever, and still bring this same type of energy. So just think about that.
I love that. That is awesome. Trent, thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time. Like, I know all of us are just going to implement everything you said. We can't wait for your book, and just so honored that you took this time to do that. Thank you so, so, so much. I'm going to reach out to you too for a link so that we can definitely get connected for the book info, and I can put on social as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you so much for sharing with me and introducing me to your world. I appreciate it. Stay awesome and keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Trent. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Take care, everybody.